In April, between my two print-on-demand shops, I brought in $13,605 in operating profit. I want to dive a little deeper this month with this income breakdown. Print-on-demand is something that literally has changed my entire life. I'm going to break down, of course, all of the numbers for April in both of my shops. I want to talk a little bit about some strategy for anybody who might be looking to grow their shop. You're under 100 sales, not quite where you want to be with your shop yet. And in this video, I also want to talk about what it looks like to actually build a life you love. So let's get into it. I started my first print-on-demand business in 2022. So I am about 2.5 years into this journey. This has been a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of building to get to where I am today. I do have two shops, the second being one that I just started back in September of last year, 2024. So that shop is still under a year old. However, it has grown pretty rapidly. Before we dive in, just a quick note, I share income breakdowns to show you what is possible and also give you something tangible to learn from, and hopefully to apply to what you are building. But if hearing numbers, hearing what somebody else is making, profit, growth, anything like that is something that has you comparing your journey and where you're at to my numbers and where I'm at, then I encourage you to just skip this one. There's tons of other videos on my channel that don't talk about metrics specifically, learning about strategy, tutorials, how-tos. I'll have some videos linked down in the description box for you. And if these are the types of videos that inspire you, then you're in the right place. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be using Profittree to pull the data out of my shops. If you're not familiar with Profittree, it's an Etsy real-time profit tracking tool that connects directly into your Etsy account and into your print providers such as Printify and Printful. In real time, it takes all of your numbers, all of your cost of goods, what you're bringing in sales on Etsy, breaks it all down and spits out your profit. So you can get a realistic look at what money you are actually bringing in your business. It is by far the easiest and my favorite way to get a quick, just at a glance look at the numbers in my shops. And so I do have a link if that's something that you're interested in checking out for your shops. I'll have it in the description box below. Alrighty, now with shop number one, let's break it down. Shop number one, this is me referring to the first shop that I started. So back in 2022, this shop is about 2.5 years old now. And in the month of April, this shop saw 550 orders, little over 13,000 visits, over a 4% conversion rate. That's the one metric I am the most proud of. And in total, $13,885.74 in revenue. Now on Profittree, you will see that this revenue is slightly higher. On Profittree, it reads $15,538.81. This is because I do charge for shipping. So there is a little bit of a difference in the revenue that you see in your Etsy account versus your true revenue that you are collecting. As far as expenses for this shop, I had $5,640.59 for my cost of goods, $1,733.80 in Etsy fees, $1,647.11 in shipping, and I spent $1,507.26. All in all, bringing my profit for shop one to $5,010.05. Now for shop two, this is the younger shop, and this shop saw 1,023 total orders, little under 30,000 visits, conversion rate of about 3.5%, and total revenue was $31,630.56. Same thing, you're gonna see a little bit of higher revenue over on the Profittree side of things for this shop because I do charge for shipping for some of the products that are in it. For my expenses, I spent $14,324.17 for my cost of goods, $3,900.59 in total on all of my Etsy fees, $5,400.74 in shipping, and I spent $3,147.78 on ads. When I am saying ads, these are just on Etsy ads. I don't do any external marketing, like I don't do any social media marketing or ads on Facebook or anything like that. This is just Etsy ads. This brings the total profit for shop two to $8,595.05, bringing the grand total for profit in my print-on-demand businesses to $13,605 for the month of April. All right, so we got that out of the way. I'm gonna be really honest with you here for a second, and I don't know if this is gonna come off the right way, but I feel like people always are like,
oh, like, well, money can't buy happiness.
Yes, it can. Money can absolutely buy happiness. Money can buy you stability. It can buy you consistency. It can keep you from living paycheck to paycheck. Because I have lived those types of things, I 100% think that money can buy happiness. And I will say that making this type of income with print on demand has made me pretty darn happy. Now, yeah, there's like the caveat of, you can have other things in life that aren't fulfilling. I'm still a normal human. I still have things that happen and struggles and whatnot. But print on demand has truly changed my life. And that's genuinely why I'm so passionate about talking about it. And I'm sharing this because I think it's very easy to lose sight of something that you're working towards when it feels really hard. And building a print on demand business, building a business in general, is very hard. And you might be in the very hard phase of it right this moment. I never want to sugarcoat the amount of work and long hours that I put into building this business, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I share these videos because I'm hoping that they're aspirational to show you what that light looks like. Print on demand has truly given me so much flexibility with my time. That's really the number one thing that I was craving. I personally just didn't really like the rigid structure of a 9 to 5, especially being a mom, having children, I only have one child, but moms who have multiple children, I don't know how you do it, but just being able to not feel tied to a specific structure in your day and being able to take time away. If a field trip comes up at school, being able to just be a chaperone, be able to take the day if your child is sick, little things like that, that print on demand income has been able to give me back into my life. That to me is happiness, or that's my version of happiness and why I wanted this business model to work for me. It is the ability to work when I want to, or if I need to take rest, I am able to. I had the worst migraine that I've had in years last week, and I bought one of those like cold head squeeze things and literally just laid in bed with all the lights off and just iced my entire head until it went away. And I didn't have to feel bad about doing so. Print on demand has allowed me to not do grocery store math anymore. To go to the grocery store and literally be like tallying up what's in my cart and trying to do the math of what I'm purchasing before I get to the checkout. And then even when I'm in line for the checkout, I'm watching the number go up, looking at my checking account, making sure that there's enough in there because I don't want to be embarrassed and have my card decline. These are just those little things that print on demand has completely eliminated for me and have made me feel stable. And I've been able to create a life that I love. For you to create a life that you love, I don't think massive numbers are even necessary. When I was first starting to make an income with print on demand, it was the little bills that were starting to be paid for with print on demand that were really starting to make a difference. When I first started my first shop, my goal was to pay for daycare. My son was in daycare at the time. If you know, daycare is astronomically expensive. And when I started making enough just to cover even just 1 week of daycare, and then enough to cover 2 weeks of daycare, enough to cover the phone bill, cover a car payment, literally anything like that, that was very measurable, that is where I really started to feel the weight come off. And that is what print on demand can do for so many people. So when I am sharing these big numbers, I really encourage you to do the math with some of the smaller numbers and thinking about the ways that you can get those quicker wins so that you feel that weight coming off of you. If you're feeling the same things that I've felt in the past, for one, I empathize with you. And I think that breaking it down a little bit simpler can help it feel a lot more tangible and within your reach than just hearing large numbers from somebody who has been doing it for a long time at this point. For example, just to make an additional $100, that might just be 14 t-shirts or 8 sweatshirts or 10 tote bags. Those are truly where the wins begin and where they start to add up. So thank you for listening to my little rant, getting a little deep here for a second, but it's just something that I think about very often and just wanted to share my thoughts. Shifting away to a new topic, If you are under 100 sales, let's talk a little bit about strategy and some things that I recommend, a little bit of a blueprint for you that you can dial in your current strategy to start reaching those small wins and start building something tangible that you can be proud of and take some weight off of you. If you are in my community, you are already familiar with what I'm about to say. You might have even had reached some of your sales from this method, but I want to break down what I like to call the rule of 5 ones. This is something that I've kind of touched on a little bit before on my channel, but it is truly the blueprint that I recommend for anybody who's looking to hit their first 100 sales. It of course can still be used after 100 sales if you're scaling. However, this is really just like the bare bone minimum things to focus on when you are looking to get started and actually see growth. I think it'd be fun to make this a little bit of a challenge just here on this video. Make this what you do for the next 30 days. Comment down below, let me know if you're in. And if you are in, come back to this video in 30 days and let me know how it went for you and a little bit of a progress update. I like that. Okay, let's break it down. So the first thing that we are going to do in the rule of 5 ones is we are going to focus on one product type. This can be any product type, but I will say the top 5 product types that I recommend for this phase are t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases, tote bags, and mugs. The second thing that you are going to focus on is one research session daily. Third, one in-demand niche. 4, one listing daily. 5, all with one goal in mind, and that is to get you to your first 100 sales. Let's do a little walkthrough of what this looks like. So we have one product type. With that one product type, you are only going to be creating for that one product type. So if you pick t-shirts, you are sticking to t-shirts. You're not adding in sweatshirts because they feel similar. No, you are sticking to one. The next part of this is one research session daily. Now, I don't want you to overthink this. This is 10, 15, 20 minutes if you have up to 20 minutes. Literally just one small research session every single day. If that means you have more time, amazing. If you only have 5, 10 minutes, that is still better than nothing. And when I'm talking about research, research can be formal research or it can be informal research. Most of the time, it's probably going to be more of that informal research. For one in-demand niche, you are determining this niche through your research sessions. Determining what is in demand means things that are being actively searched for. Ideally, something that is being highly searched for and doesn't have a ton of competition. When I say one in-demand niche, that means you are only going to be focusing on one niche at a time, and we are going to build out that niche to at least 25 unique designs for it. Let me tell you a little bit about the method to the madness here. The reason that we are building a multitude of designs is because the main thing that is causing sellers to not make sales is their designs. So with that being said, we need to create more designs. For one, that's going to improve your design skill. For two, it's going to give you an accurate assessment as to what is and what isn't working. You're going to have unique designs. It's not going to be a bunch of the same things just laid out on different mock-ups over and over and over again. We want to make sure that we are creating different styles so that we can see what's actually resonating with that niche that we are targeting. If you are thinking,
Taylor, oh my gosh, that's a lot. How am I going to think of that many things?
That is where rule number 4 comes in, and that is one listing daily. This isn't a sprint. I don't want you to create 25 designs as soon as you leave this video. In fact, I actually discourage that. I don't think it is useful or a best practice to just pump things out. You are going to be compounding your knowledge by following this system, remembering that we are doing one research session daily. So you are learning as you go, you are improving as you go, and the listing that you create on day 5 is going to be incrementally better than the listing that you created on day 1 because you've allowed space in between creating those listings and you've been doing research along the way. This is what I want you to repeat. If you're taking this as a challenge watching this video, do this for the next 30 days. You will have one full in-demand niche built out by the end of those 30 days if you're following this strategy. I know it works because it's not only worked for me, but it's worked for all of these individuals too. When you follow this framework, you start to build real momentum, and that is when things start to shift in your favor. So if you are in, let me know in the comments down below, what is the product type that you are going to go all in on for the rule of 5 ones? I hope that this video gave you a real grounded look at at not only what print on demand can do for you financially and the numbers wise, but also what it can do truly for your life. If you're still new to learning about print on demand and you're curious more so about the startup costs and what that looks like to just get your business off of the ground, I'm gonna have this video for you to watch next that breaks all of that down for you. And if you are ready to join my community, your invite is always in the description box below. I would love to see you in there. If you haven't already done so, be sure to boop the subscribe button down below if you want to see more videos about print on demand, entrepreneurship, and building a life that you love. As always, I hope that you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.